Hello everybody. This video is about drawing eyes for my pet portraits. It's a little longer than my other videos, but I thought this would be a great opportunity to show you. I usually save the eyes for last, so that's something that I personally like to do. For me, I find eyes are the most important part of the process. So I do like to save them till the end. Here you can see I just went in with some pastel pencils, and as you can see from the picture at the very beginning of this beautiful cat, the eyes are like a yellowish greenish tone. So it's all a matter of blending to get the correct color, but also you want to blend it so it gives that look of the glassy look. It all pretty much helps by blending and layering and blending and layering. See, I'm blending right now with the stump. It's like a paper stick. And then I go in with like a little bit of a darker color. I'm just looking at the picture of the cat that I showed you at the beginning, that I have on my iPad in front of me while I'm filming this. And I'm just looking at it and reaching for pencils. The only cuts I actually made to this video were picking out the pencils, because every time I would put down a pencil and go to get another pencil, it would take quite a bit longer than I thought, because I'm thinking, oh, do I want to get the black pencil? Do I want to get a darker color or a lighter color? And I just keep looking back at the picture. So I probably cut half of the length off of this video just by showing you the parts where I have the pencils in my hand already. Also, I did this in real time, but then I sped it up to be a little faster because it's already a long video. There's just a lot to it, and I wanted to show the entire process. And it's just really important to keep getting in there with the colors, to keep layering, in this case, the greens and the yellows. But I just want it to look as perfect as it can and expressive as it can, because it's just, to me, the focal point, but the most important piece of the pet portrait is the pet's eyes. That's where the most expression comes from, and that's what gives it the soul and the feeling of it being your pet and not just a pet. And that's huge to me. Again, this portrait wasn't completely done at the time I did the eyes. It was probably 90% done, and I needed to do the eyes and then just tweak it here and there with a little bit more white and maybe some browns. But I didn't do too much tweaking after I did the eyes. So this is almost the finishing touches. As you can see, I'm putting a little bit of blending into the tops to give it that little bit of shadow. And you can already see how much it's come along just from the back and forth with the yellow and the green and the yellow and the green. I'm not using a lot of colors really, just a specific yellow pastel pencil and a green, and going in and out with the blacks and the whites. The blacks and the whites are charcoal pencils that I happen to be using. I find those are a little bit stronger and more dramatic in the pigment, the color. So I usually only use them at the very end, but I do actually really like using the General brand white and black charcoal pencils, and they're not very expensive either. I did most of the portrait in pastel sticks. I do get the base down and then come in with details of the fur by using the pencils, just because it gets me in a little bit thinner on the lines, and you really need that for the fur. This is a white pastel that I use for the body and such. I go in at the end and I just kind of give it that little reflection and that sparkle. As you could see, I put a little too much on the eye, one of them right there, and I'm going in with the black to just go over it. Just the tiniest bit that you do with either a pencil or a pastel stick, or just the smallest line or dots that you put onto the paper can make such a dramatic difference. You really have to step back and look at it after doing every little mark, just so you can see if it's looking the way you want it to look. And again, you want the eyes to not only look like the picture itself, but you want them to be somewhat symmetrical, matching each other as well. You can't have them different sizes unless the pet has eyes that are slightly different sizes. So in that respect, you want to make sure everything is pretty much balanced. And I'm going back in again with the white pastel, because after I did it, I kind of went over it. I do a lot of drawing and then drawing over it and then redrawing, just to get it perfect, or my version of perfect. I really did enjoy doing this cat. I love the color eyes and the beautiful orange kitty and with the green eyes. And they're looking so realistic right now compared to when I first started. So you can really get an idea of what it entails, but just also the process. Because like I said, I didn't cut from this video any of my process. I just trimmed off where I was reaching for pencils and putting pencils back. So now I'm going off of the eyes, just kind of doing a little bit of detail here and there on the nose with the black. This is the extra details that I mentioned, that even though I was going in with the eyes at the end, it wasn't completely the end. And I tend to tweak afterwards as it is. Even it goes on. I like to step away and look at it the next day and just say, oh, does it need anything else? I just want to make sure it's to my liking and everything is as I feel it should be when I finally spray it and frame it. And this is looking really nice at this point. There's a lot of depth in the eyes, a lot of expression, and I'm just really pleased with the way they came out. Oh, time to put in the whiskers. I like to make sure my pencil is pretty sharp for this. Oh, and there we go. And there it is framed. And that's it. Thanks for watching.